Just one day after the horrific violence in Minnesota, our community here in Portland was witness to a moment of fear, confusion, and heartbreak. Earlier this afternoon, 2 people were shot and injured by federal agents in the Hazelwood neighborhood. Portland is not a training ground for militarized agents. When the administration talks about using full force, we are seeing what it means on our streets. The consequences are not abstract. They are felt in hospital rooms and living rooms, in the quiet moments when families try to make sense of what happened, what is happening. We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past. We are calling on ICE to halt all operations in Portland until a full and independent investigation can take place. Our community deserves answers. Our community deserves accountability. And most of all, our community deserves peace. The administration is trying to divide us, to pit communities against one another, to make us fear one another. ICE agents and their Homeland Security leadership must fully be investigated and held responsible for the violence inflicted on the American people in Minnesota, in Portland, and in all the communities across America.
Another day, another immigration crackdown by the Trump administration made the news. Just a day after a 37-year-old Minneapolis woman was killed by an ICE officer, federal immigration agents shot and injured 2 people in a vehicle outside a Portland hospital on January 8th. The Department of Homeland Security stated that the vehicle's passenger was a Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with the transnational Tren de Aragua prostitution ring, and had been involved in a recent shooting in the city. During a targeted vehicle stop in the afternoon, agents identified themselves, but the driver tried to run them over, the department said. Fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired a defensive shot, DHS said. The driver drove off with the passenger fleeing the scene. The condition of the 2 people shot by federal agents has not been released. Police found a man and woman with gunshot wounds a few miles from Adventist Health Hospital and applied a tourniquet to one. City officials said both are alive, while the FBI leads the investigation into the incident.
Just a day after the shooting in Minneapolis of Renee Good, there was a shooting involving 2 Portlanders in East Portland with federal agents. We are still waiting for more details, but needed to pull counselors to get a briefing and an update so that we could ensure that we were prepared to respond. I'm sorry to be delivering this news today. We are all holding both Ms. Good's family and the families of these Portlanders as we sit here. As far as we know, both of these individuals are still alive, and we are hoping for more positive updates through the afternoon.
I'm going to share just a few details. As you're aware, this is still very active investigation, so information is limited and won't be speaking to a lot of specifics. But what I can say is that approximately 2:18 this afternoon, Portland police officers responded to the 10,000 block of Southeast Main Street on the report of a shooting. So it came in via a 911 call. Officers confirmed that federal agents had been involved in a shooting. Portland police were not involved in that incident. About 6 minutes later, at 2:24 p.m., officers received information, once again through dispatch, that a man who had been shot was calling and requesting help in the area of Northeast 146th and East Burnside. Our officers responded. We found a male and a female with apparent gunshot wounds. Officers applied a tourniquet and summoned emergency medical personnel. The patients were transported to local hospital, and their conditions at this time are unknown. Officers had determined that the two people who were injured in the shooting involving the federal agents from the earlier call. PPB officers secured both scenes, and this is a federal investigation. It's being led by the FBI. We have been in touch with them. We are, in regular contact. This is their responsibility. But when we have these type of events happen in the city, Portland Police Bureau does offer level of assistance.
The shooting prompted hundreds of protesters to gather at the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE building that night. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield pledged to investigate whether any federal officer acted outside the scope of their lawful authority, and to refer criminal charges to the prosecutor's office if necessary. After the shooting, Portland Mayor Keith Wilson issued a statement and criticized the Trump administration's deployment of ICE agents to crack down on immigration in order to save America. Portland is not a training ground for militarized agents, and the full force threatened by the administration has deadly consequences, Mayor Wilson's statement read. He further called on ICE to end all operations in Portland. During the press conference, he reiterated his stance and demanded ICE halt operations until an independent investigation, saying the community deserves answers.
I just want to also just reiterate what he had talked about the city standing tall and really standing together. And I've been before you already too many times under these circumstances, but I'm grateful that every time I do make the call within such a short period of time that the Madam Governor will answer the call, and all of the individuals standing behind me and all of our elected officials and community leaders are standing with us as well. And we've always stood together, and we will continue to stand together. Just one day after the horrific violence in Minnesota, our community here in Portland was witness to a moment of fear, confusion, and heartbreak. Earlier this afternoon, 2 people were shot and injured by federal agents in the Hazelwood neighborhood. Violence in our community is devastating. These are not statistics. These are human beings. Portland is not a training ground for militarized agents. When the administration talks about using full force, we are seeing what it means on our streets. The consequences are not abstract. They are felt in hospital rooms and living rooms, in the quiet moments when families try to make sense of what happened, what is happening. We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past. That is why we are calling on ICE to halt all operations in Portland until a full and independent investigation can take place. Our community deserves answers. Our community deserves accountability. And most of all, our community deserves peace. Earlier today, I spoke with Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. We shared not just our concerns, but our grief for the families who are suffering and grief for the recklessness of our federal government. The administration is trying to divide us, to pit communities against one another, to make us fear one another. Portland, this is a moment to hold each other close, to stand together, to remember that our strength has always come from community, compassion, and solidarity. Yesterday, Governor Walz made an appeal to all of us. Today, I want to say clearly that we stand with Minneapolis, we stand with Minnesota, we stand with Chicago, we stand with LA. We stand with every community that is hurting in our nation, every family that is afraid, every person who feels unseen or unheard. ICE agents and their Homeland Security leadership must fully be investigated and held responsible for the violence inflicted on the American people in Minnesota, in Portland, and in all the communities across America. The Federal Protective Service claims values such as service, integrity, honor, and vigilance. This is the moment to live those values, not behind masks, not through intimidation, but through transparency, accountability, most of all, humanity.